Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, we hear from a conservationist who thinks Arizona representatives are wrong to support a proposed copper mine near Superior. A new study shows that Arizona ranks behind national averages in per capita income. And on tonight's Arizona Art Beat, we look at the work of a local printmaker. Those stories next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Eight, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. Arizona Congressman Paul Gosar was on our show last week, and he spoke in support of a proposed land swap needed for a planned copper mine near Superior. Tonight we hear from a conservationist who is against the land swap and the mine. Roger Featherstone is with the Arizona Mining Reform Coalition. Good to have you here.
Thanks for inviting me on the show, Ted.
You betcha. Let's get to generalities and first, and then hear what both Congressman Gosar and Congresswoman Kirkpatrick have to say about this mine. Why is this mine a bad thing for Arizona?
It's just not good public policy. There's a process in place that all the other large copper mines, proposed copper mines in the United States go through, and that entails first writing a mining plan of operations, then going through the public review process, then getting a decision. In this case, Rio Tinto is short-circuiting that and going straight to Congress for relief from the process, and that's just not good policy.
How are they short-circuiting this?
In that if they go, the way the bill is written, and this is the 12th bill that we've been dealing with in this issue, as the bill is written, there will be no NEPA before the land exchange, and then after the land exchange is done, all the decisions are made, so any analysis and alternatives would be more or less meaningless.
And NEPA is the National Environmental Policy Act, and the standards therein are what need to be addressed before the mine can go through. When we spoke with Congressman Gosar last week specifically about NEPA, he says that the mine simply can't go through without these NEPA studies. Let's hear what he had to say.
A lot of people would like to see a pre-NEPA done before any land exchange. But Ted, that's like you and me. If I'm selling you a piece of property, you have to go through planning and zoning and through the whole environmental aspects before we make the transfer. Congress has that plenary aspect. My bill, our bill, and in my bill, it precludes anything going forward within that mine without going through the proper environmental protections and assays from federal, state, and local entities. It's already being done. They can't go past go in order to do that.
So if the idea is, regardless of when the NEPA studies are done, there is no mine without NEPA studies, what's the problem here?
There's a disconnect here between what Mr. Gosar says and what is written in his bill, and it's very puzzling to me how there's such a big disconnect. NEPA is a law that requires the Forest Service and any federal agency to study a proposal, make alternatives, and get all the information in before they make an informed decision. If there's no decision to be made, then there's no reason to do the analysis. The way this should happen, for example, would be what happened in the Safford mine when that was permitted, which involved also a land exchange. What happened was the mining company, Phelps Dodge at the time, wrote a mining plan of operations that included the land transfer and the mining plan of operations. That was studied and reviewed by the Forest Service and the public. It came to a decision. That's the way that this should be done, not by going straight to Congress for relief.
But getting to the ends justifying the means here, if there is no mine without NEPA studies, does it matter when the NEPA studies are done?
Yes, it matters very much. And it's an open question as to whether, if there's no federal nexus, whether there would even be an analysis done by NEPA. The Forest Service themselves, when they testified in front of the committee this March on this version of the land exchange, said clearly that NEPA studies should be done before a decision is made, and unless that happens, it is meaningless to do the NEPA if there's no decisions to be made.
And you mentioned the mining plan of operation, and I know critics are upset because there is no formal plan of operation filed as yet, and you refer to that, but Congressman Gosar again last week said critics are jumping the gun on this because the plan of operation should be ready by year's end. Let's hear what he had to say.
That's not due yet. That's coming up here shortly in the timetable of aspects. I mean, be patient and look, these are the numbers that are coming forward. In the mine plan of operation, they're going to come forward with those, and then they've pretty much got everything resolved. They're carrying over half of the 50-year water supply that they'll be using. They've actually invested in reclamation for reused water to use over and over again. The only thing that they're working on, and they've had a very open, transparent process, is where they're going to place the tailings. They've been very, great ideas in regards to looking at ABC for construction for our roads, but I'm open to the public and to those dialogues.
Okay, so it sounds like half of the operation concerns are resolved, and that water supply issues, and except for tailings, it seems like that's still out there, but much of the mining plan of operation has been resolved, and according to the congressman, it's not even due yet.
Rio Tinto has started this process in 2004. They've had plenty of time to write the mining plan of operations. Instead, they gambled on going to Congress, which would avoid the mining plan of operations until they got the land in private ownership, which is something they all along they've been very reluctant to put out a plan before they got their bill. And now they've either got to put up or shut up, and so now they're making this move to get the public involved, to help them find a tailing site. They've had 10 years to do this. This is one of the largest mining companies in the world, and if they could not have come up with a complete plan in the last 10 years, instead of at the last minute throwing something together, then they have no right to be mining at the site to begin with.
Whether or not they're throwing something together to have a mining operation ready by year's end, is that not good enough?
No, because, well, it is good enough if the land exchange bill itself is halted, and that whole process is halted until the review of the mining plan is allowed to happen. A mining plan in itself can be either a good mining plan or a bad mining plan, and it takes a while to figure out exactly what is going to be in that document to know whether they've actually covered all their bases.
There are also concerns regarding American Indian sacred areas in that particular region. Do you see those as concerns as well?
Absolutely, absolutely. Oak Flat is clearly a sacred site to many tribes. And the land exchange is opposed by every tribe and pueblo in the United States through the National Congress of American Indians and the Intertribal Council of Arizona. So this is clearly a sacred site, and of course has a lot of other values. And the fact that this is being pushed through with no consultation written into the bill until after it was passed is, again, simply not the way that the laws are written to protect the rights of Native people to have religious freedom.
I asked Congresswoman Kirkpatrick and Congressman Gosar about that particular issue regarding American Indian sacred areas and tribal rights and these sorts of things, and they both commented on this, and both seemed to say that if you talk to tribal members, they want this project. If you talk to tribal leaders, they don't. Let's see what they both had to say.
Having grown up on tribal land myself, that is part of their spirituality and their culture, and very respectful of that. On the other hand, this is the Copper Corridor. I have to represent all my constituents, and the folks in that area are miners. They have been for generations and generations, and they want this to happen.
There are 2 studies and 2 polls out right now that show that less than 20% of the tribe actually believe the way that Chairman Rambler and the council have actually gone. They want the jobs to come into the area, and they want to have a shot at those jobs coming to the San Carlos.
It sounds again like they're saying that opponents are literally disregarding the will of the people. How do you respond to that?
The will of the people is to protect the land for recreation and for its sacred character and for the economic diversity of the town of Superior. And that's the will of the people. I don't know what studies Congressman Gosar is referring to. I've not seen any of those, although I suspect that they were probably bought and paid for by Rio Tinto. But clearly, both tribal government and tribal members are opposed to the land exchange and firmly believe that the land exchange is incompatible with the sacredness of Oak Flat.
And with that in mind, the last soundbite here is from Congresswoman Kirkpatrick. The idea is years of talks, which she sees as an open process. There have been numerous meetings, community sessions, and the like. We just had another one here recently. Congresswoman Kirkpatrick here on what she sees as an honest attempt to get all voices heard.
there's a balance to this, and we've been talking with all the stakeholders on this, trying to address their concerns. You and I had talked earlier about the rock climbers. You know, there's been an agreement reached with the rock climbers, so that area where they like to climb has been protected. So, you know, there's movement. There are ways to do this in a balanced way, and that's what we're striving to do.
Is there, from where you stand, is there no way that this mine should go through? Let's say that all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, and the NEPA studies are done and the mining plan of operation is accurately filed. Would you still be against the mine?
If the mining plan was written, and went through the entire process, if the company could pass muster as far as not damaging the sacredness of Oak Flat, and if the land exchange was abandoned, then our organization very well could support this mine.
For those in Superior and in the area who say the town's broke, we need the jobs, we need the industry, we need to diversify the economy with the diversification that comes with a massive project, and this is a massive project, there's no doubt about it. You would say
there's two sides to economic development. I mean, certainly no one would think that a large mine such as this would not have environmental, social, and governmental problems. Those haven't been taken into account, and nor can they be, because we haven't seen a mining plan of operations. So the town of Superior was doing a very good job while the mine was closed, when it closed in 1996, to diversify their economy. And now that this project has come in, that diversification has been abandoned. And that's just not the right way to do it. And lastly, I would point out that even under the company's rosy scenario, no mine would open for at least a decade or a dozen years. And so there would be no influx of jobs in the near future anyhow. So there's many other ways to solve the economic problems of Superior, rather than getting in bed with an industry that has decimated Superior in the first place.
Roger Featherstone, good to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Get the inside scoop on what's happening at Arizona PBS. Become an 8 Insider. You'll receive weekly updates on the most anticipated upcoming programs and events. Get the 8 Insider delivered to your email inbox. Visit azpbs.org to sign up today.
A new report from ASU's Morrison Institute shows that Arizona lags behind the nation in per capita income in terms of money earned at the workplace, as well as earnings from dividends, interest, and rental property. ASU economist Tom Rex is the author of the report. It's good to see you again. Thanks for joining us. I want to get to this property income thing here in a second here, but as far as per capita earnings just in general, we're not doing too well, are we?
No. Arizona is 16% below the national average in per capita income now.
And why is that, do you think?
It's because a whole host of reasons. There's a lot of components of per capita income, and Arizona's below average, frequently, not by very much, but below average on almost every one of them. So instead of being able to point your finger and say it's this one item that does it, it's in fact a full range of factors.
Now, as far as general per capita income, we're going to get some new numbers here coming up soon, correct?
Right.
Okay, but property income, we've got the numbers now, correct?
Well, we've got 2011 numbers in property income and the others. There's preliminary numbers only for the overall figure, and it shows 2012 wasn't really any different than 2011. So we haven't made any progress in the last year.
And we may ask you back when we kind of get these updated numbers, especially in general terms of per capita income. But right now, the best we can do is property income. And the research there are different levels or different categories of property income. What are they?
Well, property income basically refers to individual savings, whether they do it through a bank account, whether they do it by buying stock, whether they buy real estate. All of those would fit into property income. And we're below average on property income by about the same amount as the overall, which isn't a real surprise in that if your populace is not making that much money, they're making less income than their counterparts around the country, they're going to have less money to invest in any of these other ventures. So that, I think, is really the primary reason why property income is so low, is because our earnings are so low.
But I would think, and from your report, it seemed to suggest that urban areas you would see better, at least property income results than you would in maybe rural areas, and yet it sounds like Maricopa County is still below the average for urban areas.
It is. Yes, it is. It's better than it's better than all the rest of the state. Maricopa County is the best in all the different measures of income, and but it is still below. It's below, in particular, other large urban areas. There is a relationship with urban size and measures like this. And so, yes, it's not a problem that you can say is strictly a rural problem in Arizona, because it's an urban problem as well.
Do we see differences between Maricopa County, Pima County, Yavapai? It sounded like Yavapai County was doing pretty well. What are we seeing there?
Yavapai does well in that particular measure because they have a fair number of rather affluent retirees. Maricopa County used to do better on the measure because it used to, relative to the size of the economy, have more relatively affluent retirees. We still have them, they're still moving in, but they're a drop in the bucket now compared to all the rest of the economy.
And talk more about that, because it seems as though it would be difficult. The whole thing would be difficult for me to research, but as far as research is concerned, with so many people coming in, part-time residents, folks who might have a lot of net wealth to them, staying here for a certain amount of time, how do you balance those metrics? How do you figure out what's really going on?
Well, the part-timers don't get counted in Arizona. They get counted wherever they spend most of their time, where they declare their permanent residence to be. So they're not in the numbers any way, shape, or form. But the retirees that move here, people that retire and then move to Arizona for their retirement, they are a boost to the economy. Most of them are fairly affluent, and that's why you get an example like you mentioned in the Prescott area, where you've got some fairly good numbers on that because they made their money elsewhere. So their earnings may well have been pretty good wherever they were living. They weren't subject to the lower conditions in Arizona, and then they bring that money with them when they retire.
So talk about the economic impact of those sorts of folks, and again, how you can balance that. It seems like it's a moving target. You never know who's going to move here. The past few years, it seems, no one's been moving here.
Well, yeah. The short-term cyclical conditions take precedence over everything else, essentially. I mean, even the more affluent people that were thinking of retiring, many of them saw such a huge drop during the recession in their savings through their investments and all that they've had to back off and not think about retiring, not think about moving as soon as they might have expected. But we do know there's a large, large number of baby boomers who are just now, the leading edge of them are just now hitting retirement age. So it may well be that in the coming years, Arizona experiences quite a bit of an increase in the number of retirees moving here.
From what we've seen in previous years, how do we rank in terms of Western states? Per capita income in general, property income in particular?
We're below average. We're better than a couple states like New Mexico, but we're below the average.
And why is that?
Well, there's a lot of reasons, again, as I mentioned. We have, first off, relatively high proportions of both retirees and children. They're not part of the workforce. They're not earning income. So that's part of it there. Even though when you look at the working age population, we have a lower percentage part of the labor force in Arizona. So you put that together, we have fewer percentage of the people earning money. Then for those that are earning money, the average wage is below average here, partially because our job mix is tilted towards lower wage jobs. even if you're not working for a company, you're on your own.
Yeah.
Proprietors' incomes are really low in Arizona. So, you know, you get the idea. It's just you pick up anything you look at, we're below average. And so when you accumulate all of those individual items, none of which on their own are that terribly significant, but you put them all together and there's nothing offsetting all the low end.
Yeah. All right. Well, Tom, not the most encouraging of news, but it's an interesting report nonetheless. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Tonight's edition of Arizona Art Beat features an artist who starts with a carving and ends with a print. Local artist Donna Atwood creates prints made from wood or linoleum carvings. Her work is featured in a new exhibit at the Phoenix Central Library. Reporter Lori Allen and photographers Scott Olson and Steve Snow take a look at the printmaker and her exhibit, which is called Little Miss Tex-Mex Rides Again.
Oh, you know, you can't use a bow and arrow to get somebody to love you. You have to use good cooking.
Donna Atwood is talking about the title piece in her exhibit, Little Miss Tex-Mex Rides Again.
I thought, well, I want to ride a bird.
Atwood says her art is influenced by her environment.
Whatever I see around me becomes part of my visual language. And we have, of course, we have the flora and fauna of the region, and we also have strong Mexican influence, which I love dearly. I think we get a lot of bad press in Arizona for our relationships with Mexico. I think the underlying part of that relationship is a very good one, culturally and artistically and cuisine-wise.
Here at Santo Press, Atwood collaborates with her former professor, Brent Bond.
My job was easy. All the work had been done when you handed it to me.
Now, in the jargon of printmaking, Bond is her publisher.
She has a very good sense of black and white, negative and positive. And while the medium can easily be used in multiple runs, multiple colors, sometimes I find the most challenging is to work in that one color and try to convey all those values, all those different materials, and all those different light sources and light quality and characteristics of an external or internal space, whether it's a physical space, a landscape, or surreal space of the mind. You know, there's still spatial elements in her work that are very successful.
Atwood's work can be humorous.
I miss being young and thin, but I'll still take the attention.
It's definitely whimsical. Her Lovebirds print is inspired by this video she took on a walk. And some pieces are commentary on social trends, such as El Gallo.
A girlfriend of mine had decided a couple of years ago, it was, that she was going to start dating again. And I thought, oh my Lord, heaven help us all. She would find these guys and it would seem like it was going well, and she'd go through that little process that I have lined up along the base of, oh, he brought me flowers, oh, chocolates, oh, we're going out for drinks, or a concert, or she even went to Italy with one fellow. And then sometimes she really thinks she's in love and that this is going to be the one. And you just think, ugh. I had to plan that.
At the library exhibit, people are surprised and delighted to meet the artist.
You know, I really love black and white.
The coordinator of the gallery's exhibit says Atwood's collection was chosen for its visual appeal and artistic merit.
We don't particularly look for any sort of themes, but to be honest, I think that her Southwestern theme fits very wonderfully and nice in this Arizona library, and I also think that's one of the reasons why it's being so well received here.
Atwood says she's grateful to be showcased at the library. But a solo show can be daunting.
Not only do you have to work the whole time with no income, you also have to bear the brunt of all of the expenses. And all the while you must believe enough in yourself that you think this is going to be okay, this is going to work out, you're going to sell work, people will like it, you won't publicly humiliate yourself. And I think the only way to do that is to have people around you that go, yeah, Donna, this is good, go with this, do this.
An artist reception at Little Miss Tex-Mex Rides Again exhibit will be held from 6 to 8 p.m. Friday, September 6th at the Burton Bar Central Library in Phoenix. The exhibit runs through October 16th. That is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Eight, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.